New Zealand may be a small country, but in the wider world what we do, use and consume affects lives everywhere. So I'm on a mission to see how we're treating our backyards both here and further afield. What are we doing to be cleaner and greener? What do we need to change? And what does the future hold? So join me to Radar as I go global. Don't worry, I'll plant plenty of trees to offset the travel. Now, where's my passport? They're hoary old sayings. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Waste not, want not. Or as I always like to say, it's not rubbish, it's a resource. Yeah, my mother generally doesn't tend to agree with that. Take, for example, these chips. Who would ever have thought that the waste product of creating potato chips, starch from potatoes, would ever be useful in motor racing? Well, it is. It's a very good example of looking at something and thinking, that's a product that no one could possibly want. It's waste. And someone else looking at it and going, I think I've got a use for that. That's not waste, that's a resource. That's not trash, it's a treasure. Let's not throw it away. Waste is one of our few solid growth industries. In Raglan, it's the town's biggest employer. The town's trash used to be biffed in a big hole until extreme waste started in 2000. Now the community collects and sorts their resource, creating jobs for 26 locals.
Great thing about this is you get to have a good look around town. You never come on back streets. When you go into a little town, you always come up the main road, buy a pie, go on. And there's all this other action happening. People living their lives, throwing out their trash. What's the best thing about the job? I suppose you get to see where all the parties happen. Yeah. Lots of bottles outside their house. That's a party house. Might call around on the weekend. The secret's out.
Humans are always going to make waste.
No denying that.
This is all thanks to a bloke called Brick, who had the vision and passion to convince the council to let Raglan look after its resource.
How'd you get on?
Very well, I think. It's incredible.
Doing well.
You know, to think that at one stage all of this could have just been sent off and put in a hole.
Yeah, no, valuable resource.
And it's kind of, I guess, it's a bit of a mind shift, really, isn't it? Rather than thinking of it as rubbish.
Yeah,
thinking
that's
of
right.
it as a resource.
Up to, you know, I think it's up to $600 a tonne for these.
Yeah.
So,
why aren't more towns doing it?
well, they should be.
Can you imagine the amount that could be generated if every town, you know, all those little cities, little suburbs, all said, no, we don't want to see it, put into one bin and trucked off.
Yep. Even if you just did ones and twos, you would produce 40,000 jobs overnight. If the country needs more employment, this is a great place to start. All of these beautiful